Well, Stephanie, now it is time to talk some sports, and who better to have on set than Connor Kiesel?
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. As you said, Matt, the high school basketball playoff season in swing. Alexander varsity boys basketball team started and ended district tournament play last night at Ohio University's Convocation Center. The Spartans took on the number 2 seed, the Piketon Red Streaks. During the first quarter, the Spartans were struggling against Piketon's strong defense. But by the second quarter, the Spartans made a comeback and had a strong lead on the Streaks, with Jack Hart scoring 16 points for the game. Teammate Michael Chapman added another 15. But the second half turned back toward the Streaks, although it was close right to the very end. Alexander came up just short as the game closed with the final score, Piketon 59, Alexander 54. To check out more footage and pictures from last night's action, go to athensmidday.com. Meigs was at the Convo yesterday too in District 3 semifinal play. The 11-11 Marauders took on 14-7 Ironton, and it was 2 sophomores that Meigs couldn't stop. The Tigers' Zach Carter and Trey Fletcher scored 33 and 21 and led Ironton to a 70-64 win. A slow start plagued the Marauders. They got down 28-12 and could never chip away at the deficit. Cameron Bolin scored 23 in the losing effort. And in other D3 semifinal action, Wellston suffered the same result as Meigs. It's over for the Rockets, who were knocked out of the playoffs 81-36 by Chesapeake. The Rockets couldn't slow down the one-loss Panthers, who are ranked second in the state, and couldn't get enough offense going themselves. No Rockets reached double-digit points. They finished their season with 11 wins and 11 losses. When March comes around in basketball season, it's usually time to bring up the classic tale of Cinderella and her story at the ball. Yesterday, the Lady Bobcats penned the first chapter of their own tale. Now, the story begins in DeKalb, the underdog 10-seeded Cats taking on 7-seed Northern Illinois. The day's protagonist, an unlikely one, freshman Erin Bales, who's averaging just 3.9 points per game. Yesterday, she knocked everyone at the arena off their feet. That's because she put up 23 points, hitting 5 of 7 threes and propelling the Cats to a 72-56 victory. Tanisha Benson added 12 points and 7 rebounds in the win. Now, the story's second scene changes setting to Cleveland, and there's even more competition at this bigger dance. It's the MAC quarterfinals and a date with 2-seed Bowling Green. The Falcons beat Ohio both times the 2 teams played this season. The men's basketball team was the Cinderella of last year's MAC tournament. They pulled 4 upsets in a week's time to earn an NCAA tournament berth. Now they'll try to do the same this year with a higher seed. The men's MAC tournament begins Tuesday at campus sites, and Ohio is the 5th seed. You can see all of the matchups here. Now, Ohio barely missed out on a bye, a loss to Miami Friday night, delivering the final blow to those hopes, but they'll play a Toledo team that's just not good, 1-15 in the MAC, and they haven't won since mid-January. Tip-off is tomorrow night at 7 at the Convo. MAC postseason beginning in basketball, it's ending for wrestling. The MAC championships finished up yesterday on the campus of Northern Illinois. The Bobcats finished the weekend 4th overall, and Central Michigan took the title. 3 Ohio wrestlers will continue their seasons at NCAA championships. It'll be Nick Perdue at 174, Eric Schuth at 197, and Jeremy Johnson in the heavyweight class continuing on. Winning's been the word of the week across the social universe. Yesterday, the Bobcats did just that, and you can put a hashtag in front of it too. Down south in the Volunteer State, the Bobcats took on and took out Tennessee Tech. A 4-0 shutout yesterday, with starter Brent Chobin doing work on the mound for the Cats. He pitched 7 2/3 innings, allowing just 4 hits and striking out 3. The Cats now turning it around a bit, 4-7 after an 0-4 start to this season. Now it's back to Athens for the season's first home series. Marshall comes to town for 4 games starting Friday. The Bobcats softball team was shut out of playing at all. That's because of the bad weather that hit the area over the weekend. It'll now make up a game against Western Michigan in less than an hour here in Athens. That starts at 1. Then it's regularly scheduled action with a double dip against Marshall tomorrow at 1 and 3. Number 1 in the college basketball ranks, the Buckeyes. But recent history has shown Wisconsin has a way of ruining that distinction for Ohio State. Yesterday, the Buckeyes didn't just change that, they did it with some oomph. Look at John Diebler swishing threes all afternoon. He was on his game hitting from Medina, and then he's just out of state. Diebler had a great game. 7 of his 8 tries from 3 were good. The Buckeyes made 14 of their 15 shots from downtown. That breaks an NCAA record. Those numbers put a senior day victory in the win column. a 93-65 crushing of the Badgers. Now the Buckeyes closed the regular season 29-2, 16-2 in the Big Ten. They're the top seed in the Big Ten tourney with the NCAA tournament upcoming. Coming up, the standings is something the Cavs haven't done much of. They've been in the cellar for a while. But they beat the Knicks for the third time this season Friday, so maybe a kickstart for Cleveland. Yesterday, the Hornets in town, and Mardi Gras starts tomorrow, but it was no party for New Orleans. Just look at this video. It's hard to watch. Chris Paul hits the deck hard, and he suffers a concussion. And not a good thing for him, but watch this later on. Baron Davis, the heave, and it's good. A happy halftime punctuation. Jarrett Jack turned it on for the New Orleans Hornets later, and it's the Cavs losing again, 96-81. Guys, not much good to talk about with the Cavs.
No.
Not at all, Connor. Thank you very much. And man may have a new best friend. A Myrtle Beach man has a new walking buddy in addition to his 2 dogs. Whenever Will Whitson takes his frequent walks, he has a different kind of friend to keep him company. A goose, who Will has named Abe, has developed an attachment to Will and his dogs. For almost 2 years, Will, his dogs, and Abe have been walking in a local park. Will brings food for Abe, and they often eat dinner together. Sometimes Abe even tries to get in Will's car whenever their walk is over after the meal. In response to the Abe's attachment to Will, doctors say the geese can develop feelings much like a dog can. Make sure to watch Newswatch this evening at 5:30 for information on OU's latest research on pipeline safety.
And OU is paying legal expenses. We'll tell you why tomorrow at noon. Have a great day.